Good day to you. Today on Family Affairs Monday, we are talking about resolving conflict with your spouse. And there are three skills which we will focus on today. And before we start, I just want to say to you that we also have other videos by Transformation Team, which is our sister company. Look out for those on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. So, the College of Marriage and Parenting focuses on family issues, and we want people to enjoy their family life. Yes, you can enjoy your family life. So, three skills for you to resolve conflict with your spouse. Skill number one is communication skills. So, almost always, what I've observed is conflict can be resolved if we learn to communicate well. So, communication has two aspects. One is speaking, and the other one is listening. What will help conflict resolution between spouses is the capacity to be able to allow each other to speak and also to listen to each other when the other one is speaking. This is very important. So, hear this: don't allow your spouse to keep quiet. If you threaten your spouse, if uh, make your spouse not to be able to speak, and you don't know what your spouse is thinking, and you don't know what your spouse is feeling, it is a cocktail for disaster. I've seen people who have burnt each other. I've seen people who have poured cooking oil, shot each other. And in general, it's because people are not airing out their thoughts. So, speaking is something that is very important, and listening is also very important if you are to resolve conflict. So, we don't speak in anger. We don't speak in a manner that is accusatory. It's always important for you to allow your spouse to speak and for you to be able to also speak. So this is very important if you are to resolve conflict. So communication skills is a basic requirement for conflict resolution. Number two, if you are to resolve conflict, one of the things, and this is very important skill, is self-management, skills. And there are three aspects there that I will quickly look at. Three things. One, self-management in terms of emotions. So almost always, conflict will, by its nature, arouse emotions. And hear this: if you don't have the capacity to manage those emotions, what will happen is this: you will, of essence, affect your spouse in by the way you will speak to them or respond in anger, respond in disgust, whatever negative emotions you will feel. So the capacity to handle emotions, which will make you to have logical discussions with your spouse, is very important. That's why it's important to get emotional intelligence skills as part of self-management. Somebody said emotional intelligence is the awareness of your own emotional state and that of others around you, and then the ability to be able to manage those emotions in an appropriate and healthy manner, which is what we need. So learn to manage your emotions when there is a conflict, if you are to resolve that conflict well with your spouse. So the second thing when it comes to self-management is managing your pride. In general, what happens is this: if there is a conflict, pride can get in the way. And without humility, it's almost impossible for you to resolve conflict. So the person who has been wronged must be humble, as much as the person who is wrong must also be humble. I've seen men, after they have been caught either cheating, they still remain proud. Well, you can't ask me this. And because they are full of pride, guess what? They then don't solve the problem. which needs to be addressed. I've seen also people who have been wronged, being also full of pride, and they are asking for things that are almost impossible for them to be able to forgive the person. But hear this: if you don't have humility, it's impossible for you to resolve your conflict. So, dealing with pride is something that is very important if you are to resolve conflict. And the third aspect of self management is dealing with fear. If you are afraid to confront your spouse, you will not resolve that conflict. So, deal with fear. Don't allow yourself to be put in a corner where you are so afraid to confront any negative behavior pattern that is making you not to enjoy your marriage. So deal with fear. It is something that is very important, and you need to have that courage to confront. I know people ask, so how do I deal with fear? I normally say to people, just uh, confront the thing that you fear. Talk about it. The only way of ending fear is to just do the thing that you are afraid of doing. And so, if you are afraid, you won't be able to handle conflict because guess what? You won't confront. So, you won't handle the conflict. So, the third skill that you need if you are to address um, conflict with your spouse, uh, what we call thinking skills or just processing skills. Um, Conflict can be resolved when we take time to think and process. That's why when there's conflict, it's important for you as a couple to give each other time to sit down and discuss the conflict. It's something that is very important. So process the conflict areas with your spouse. So ask the relevant questions. Don't assume. Don't just focus on the position or the act that is uncomfortable. Go beyond that act. Go beyond that behavior. Talk about the reasons. Ask the relevant questions. Don't assume things. Don't judge, but process together. Speak about it. Let them explain where they are coming from. Find their assumptions. Find their needs. Dig deep. Don't leave any stone and not unturned when it comes to um, that issue that is affecting you. Because I've discovered that if we don't process these things well, if we don't sit down to really look at the issues and talk about them and use our thinking skills to ask the relevant questions, we will not resolve the conflict. So, friends, three basic skills that are necessary for us to be able to resolve conflict: um, communication skills, self management skills, and the processing skills. When we apply these skills, you will discover that we can at least begin to discuss areas of our conflict with our spouse, and most likely we'll get to a place where we can understand each other. Finally, let me just close by saying this. As usual, I normally encourage people, if you make every attempt to resolve a conflict and you fail, the two of you, don't be afraid to ask other people to come in to intervene. It is something that is very important. Call for reinforcements. Ask people to come and assist you. Seek counseling, seek mentors, seek for coaches. I've discovered that counseling works. I've discovered that asking other people to help you really, really works. So have a good day. God bless you. And we will see you again next week on another episode on Family Affairs Mondays. It's Justice here. Bye bye.